Good afternoon, everyone. This isn't about politics as much as it's about organizers, truth tellers, community, and how we allow those that are in power to lie, misuse, abuse, so that we can speak truth to it. Speaking truth to power is a dangerous phrase and precedence to set. At its core, it says that power is wrong. Deeper yet, it says that those who should and could be in a position of power wouldn't want any part of it if it meant some version of selling out or not making a difference. It says that we don't realize we are powerful from where we stand right now. A better way to share is it is important to be true when you're in power, reminding yourself and others as such. Whether you realize it or not, whether you were told it or not, it is our birthright as citizens of this country, no matter how murky or privileged it may be, to remember that when we are all truly united, it is us who remain in power. We, the powerful, must hold those people accountable while allowing room for grace for those who have chosen to walk out onto the skinny branches that is being an elected official, a community advocate, a change agent. Reminding them what authentic leadership looks like is our job. You want to know who needs to hear the truth the most in this day and time? It is us. Yes, some people who have been given a platform and a position of power have taken advantage of it, backed by a system that allowed it. But the biggest issue of our time is that we, the powerful, have allowed our role in democracy to be dismissed. We've seen too much, haven't we? If you've worked, grown up, and or cut your teeth in a disenfranchised society, you can't unring that bell. You can't unsee the unfairness. And that breaks you. It chips away at you bit by bit. In fact, when you know how the sausage is made, it's almost impossible not to feel regret, upset, anger about it. Further yet, when you, your family, or your ancestors are the backs on which the sausage factory was built, you carry around that burden. I get it. Sometimes we fight the good fight. We lose energy to fight the good fight. Sometimes that fight has killed us. Sometimes our person wins the election, but we look up after a long fought race and realize there are 110 issues in front of us alone. Sometimes our person doesn't even win the election, matched by a system that is breaking us down. But we, the powerful, have allowed unfounded insecurities, apathy, and anger to govern us, to move us forward. Let me push further. Trump is not the problem. We must do what we can to look through him and what he represents and recognize that we are united as one. Obama wasn't the solution or the issue either. Neither was Bush or Clinton before him. Neither is Pelosi or McConnell or insert your local mayor, congresswoman, or commissioner here. The problem is a system, albeit flawed, that was meant to be a push and pull towards democracy, has broken us, fractured us, and we allowed it to happen. A system that at its core, in the work that I have done over the last 15 years, is built by humans. People that are flawed. Human error is a part of how we exist, how we innovate, how we move. Some of those systems were meant to be torn down, not rebuilt, but built anew. Now, what is incredible about our history and being united is, albeit as flawed as it is, it comes with people that ensure that we would be where we are today. So I'm going to tell you about 3 of many Black women in our history that forged ahead with policy, systems, and made our world possible. My goodness, Miss Lucy Parsons. What an incredible woman. On May 1st, 1886, Miss Parsons brought her husband and 2 kids and led 80,000 people down the Chicago streets for the very first May Day. May Day meant that we would have 8-hour workdays without the reduction in pay. Miss Septima Poinsett Clark, a Haitian educator, an incredible woman who was said to have shared that she was not going to be anyone's servant or slave, went back to Haiti, and after the Civil War came back to educate Black folks. Because as so many of us know, for hundreds of years, it was illegal for Black people to be educated. I want you to sit with that. That's not my story for today. But for hundreds of years, Black people were not allowed to be educated. And Miss Clark knew that knowledge equals equity. A woman after my own heart, Miss Ella Baker. Man, Miss Ella Baker believed at her core that it is the people who work behind the scenes that forge ahead, that make systems possible. She organized unions so that Black people were given the same pay as their counterparts. Miss Baker did not believe in charismatic leaders, even within her own organization she represented. These women were not consumed by process. Although if you hear stories, they dealt with misogyny within their own organizations. We're living in a world that some of us cannot imagine, and yet they knew that the systems and process in front of them were bigger than one person, bigger than you and I. What is incredible about this is that the things that they were facing during their time are the issues that we must be looking at now. They were patriots. Now, when you think of patriotism, a lot of us picture white males. But I stand before you today and can see people in the audience who are educators, poets, entrepreneurs, business owners, mothers, fathers, that look like me and look like you and are patriots. That is patriotism. Building, rebuilding systems, working as one so that we can actually be united. Our work of this time is healthcare, housing, and equal pay. And it is impossible to look at these systems that are broken without recognizing the people in our history that moved us forward. We must recognize that who we are today has to be united in order for us to make the kind of change we work so hard for. Systems are important to how we move. The women that I've mentioned today ensured that that would take place. Systems that require our energy, our strength, our power. We, the powerful, must remember that, must know that, must feel that, must be a part of the organizations and do the work regardless of our race, our background, our religion. But I'm here to tell you there are people in our history, Black women in our history, that had their ears to the ground, and whether we like it or not, was the lowest rung on our totem poles. Focused on Black communities, but by the work that they did, impacted entire communities at large. We must be united. We must recognize who we are. We, the powerful, are the beginning and the end, in partnership with our elected officials. We are the change now. Thank you.